Hi, everybody. Welcome to week 28 of the Bible Together reading program here at First Christian Church in Jefferson City, Missouri. This week, we see a whole lot of bad decision making happening in our readings. Rehoboam chooses the advice that makes him look strong, and as a result, the kingdom divides. Jeroboam becomes so concerned with holding on to power that he changes the way that Israel worships. Asa begins faithfully, but later, when he feels threatened, he puts his trust in a political alliance instead of in God. And then, towards the end of our readings, we have Elijah, standing almost completely alone on Mount Carmel, refusing to compromise. All these stories seem to be asking the same question. What happens when faithfulness isn't the easiest option on the table? Most of us aren't making decisions that affect an entire kingdom, but we probably all have a little experience with what it's like to choose between what is faithful and what is convenient. We know the temptation to choose the option that seems safest, easiest, most likely to keep everyone happy, even if we are pretty sure it doesn't line up with God's will completely. I think that's also what the New Testament readings are getting at too, at least in part. Titus talks about a faith that becomes visible in the way we live. Philemon takes the gospel and puts it right in the middle of a complicated relationship. Jude calls the church to hold firmly to the faith it has received. All these things remind us that faith isn't just what we believe or what we say. Eventually, faith shows up in what we do. Faith shows up in how we use power, how we respond to fear, how we treat other people, and in what we choose when the faithful path might cost us something. The good news in all of these stories is that human faithfulness, or lack thereof, is never the whole story. The kings make terrible choices. The kingdom divides and people wander away from God, and yet God keeps showing up. God keeps reaching out. God keeps speaking and calling the people back. So, as you read this week, pay attention to the choices that the people in our readings make when faithfulness becomes inconvenient, and maybe ponder how those kinds of choices show up in your own life. Because faith is always more than just something we believe. It is a whole way of living. Thanks for joining this week, and I look forward to hanging out with you again next week. Bye.